Yo, what's up, guys? Another video talking about the Rune Legendary Crafting Power Up event +6 event. Okay, that. I've been getting this question quite a lot on my stream, and therefore I feel like it's value information for a video as well. Didn't really want to do it as a video at first because I kind of would have to do that yesterday or the day before, because some people probably already have locked in their base stats. So if you haven't yet, you're good on time. So do not do what I do. That's first of all, because if someone tells you you should do X, no, that doesn't make any sense because every account is different. You need different things, and therefore you have a whole bunch of things that could work or don't work for you. Second of all, do not speed chase for the 30 speed because your rune is not gonna roll into speed. Keep that in mind. It doesn't. Sure, it can probably, but it doesn't. Keep that in mind. So what do you go for then? You go for a rune that doesn't matter what it rolls into, you're gonna keep that rune and not re-up that rune. If you feel like your rune is a re-up rune the moment it doesn't hit speed, you should not be claiming that rune. It doesn't work. You should not be going for that rune. Anything that you be like, okay, this is going to be a re-up target, wrong. Not good. Also, if you say like, I go this rune specifically for one unit, wrong. That's the thing you should not do, because if that rune doesn't roll specifically, which is good for that unit, you're not gonna really use this rune. So what are my recommendations for the runes to go for is very safe bets. What's the safest bet you can go for? A slot 2 speed. Slot 2 speed is by far the best rune you can claim from this event. Sure, you cannot get a 30 speed on it unless you go something really weird on that, but technically, no, you cannot get to slot 2 speed with also 30 speed next to it. Would be very broke, by the way. But yeah, why is slot 2 speed? I would really recommend you to go accuracy on 24. Even more, crit rates 18 is very nice on the +6 as well, but accuracy 24, check your box. Go for Vio, Swift. Swift I wouldn't recommend for the slot 2s, but Vio or Will. Check out how high is your accuracy on a slot 2. It's probably like around 20, 22, 23. Maybe you're lucky you got one triple roll, but it's very difficult to get those two triple rolls. So that's actually a really good thing to go for. Plus, if that makes you that you don't have to go for an accuracy slot 6, your Chung Pung, your Okeanos, your Carno can actually run an HP or an attack slot 6. Not for Carno, but you get the point. You're not overstacking your Hathor to 110 accuracy because she already has 25 accuracy at base. Those kind of things. That actually makes you that your slot 2 accuracy has a lot of value. Same for if you have some good crit damage runes. Getting crit rate can be quite difficult to have high crit rate and high speed. Having that extra crit rate on the slot 2 is very beneficial. Talking about crit rate, another very safe pick, which I think is a very, very good pick, is a crit rate slot 4. Crit rate slot 4 has so much more value than a crit damage slot 4. The issue is, let's say your rune rolls in speed, which it doesn't, then a crit damage slot 4 has less value than a crit rate slot 4. Still, it doesn't roll into speed. The reason for that is, let's say you have a crit damage slot 4. Let me give you an example. I actually have one rune, which is my event rune from last year. The event rune from last year is a very good rune, by all means. Very, very good rune. The reason that this has less value than if this thing was crit rate is because this rune is gonna be on a unit that's potentially very fast. So my fastest set. But my fastest set does not have much more than like 40 to a 60 crit rate. You're not gonna get more than that. It's very difficult, very impossible. Even if you have a slot 2 with 30 crit rate, which is a triple, like a quad fucking max roll, it's still gonna be very difficult to add in that crit rate towards your crit damage. If this thing is a crit rate slot 4, you can use it on a lot of units. Asking me like, okay, which units can use crit rate slot 4s? Of course, your oracles. So if you have this on Will, Will is the most versatile because your Will can be used both on a Vio unit, a Despair unit, and a Swift unit. So Will is probably the best bet you want to go for. So it's probably Will Swift, or you go for a Will Vio. But crit rate slot 4s, let's say you can put it on your oracles. Braha, Ciara, Gianna, even Lima. If it's Will or Swift or Vio, it doesn't end up on Juno. Not a big issue. Savannah is actually a very good pick on Swift as well. Or on Swift. a very good pick on crit rate as well, because it's very difficult to get high crit damage on Savannah, still have enough accuracy, still have enough attack, still be tanky enough. So actually adding in the crit rate on Savannah makes it a lot easier. Units which have just 1 or 2 crit damage skills actually really value from a crit rate slot 4. Let's say an Abellio. Abellio damage doesn't come from S1, just comes from S2. Going crit rate on an Abellio and a crit damage S2 or a single target crit damage from S2 really works for an Abellio. Talking about other units, if you, let's say you go for a Swift slot 4 crit rate, it could end up on a Moor that really works. It could end up on an Asher that really works. It could even end up on a Chiwu, because on the Chiwu it has more value to go for a crit rate slot 4 than a crit damage slot 4. Again, same thing, your fastest set is not going to have enough crit rate to keep up with the crit damage to actually have that much value. Also, I've seen some people just pretty much trolling saying I go for Blade or Rage or that kind of stuff. I do not recommend that. I would almost earlier say you go for a fight rune with defense in the slot. Don't do this. But you could better go for a fight rune with, I don't know, actually, now to think of it, if you already have a fight rune, that is very good, and you need another fight rune to pair it up, that's very good. You could go for a, let's say, crit damage slot 4 fight rune with like 18 speed and that kind of stuff. Sure, maybe a crit rate fight rune. Actually, if you really want a specific fight rune to match another specific fight rune, don't really recommend you to do it, but this is the easiest way to get a very specific fight rune. Again, don't really recommend you to do it, because let's say it rolls actually into 30 speed, you end up with a 30 speed, still not gonna roll into speed, a 30 speed fight rune, which you might not really like. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on it for the runes. Let me actually know in the comments what kind of runes you have been thinking of doing. I'm not gonna answer to everyone saying like, oh, is this good, is that good? Probably maybe it's a little bit too many comments. But I'm just curious to read through what kind of runes are you thinking about doing. For sure, don't go for 5 stars. Don't go for, for 5 stars for slot 5, slot 3, slot 1s. Do not pull a Jambi and claiming your rune when it's not rerolled properly. Take your time to actually reroll. You got, I don't know how many days for these events. I think the event takes about 30, 34, 35 days, which is pretty long, 34 days. And that's pretty long. I wouldn't recommend to aim for your +6s. Do keep in mind that you have to take some time to go for your +6s. But probably if you take like 5 or 6 days of like farming like you normally do, you probably get there, unless you really don't farm. But probably 5 or 6 days is enough to get your +6 to the way you want them. Also, what a good idea is to first try to roll your left rune until it looks like something you could keep. Then try to roll your right rune until it's something you could keep. And it's gonna be quite a lot of time for actually re-rolling until you get something good. And the thing is, you cannot keep a line. Let's say it would be very chill if you can keep like your 8 attack and then you just re-roll the other 3. So sometimes it feels like you're just re-rolling till infinity and you're never gonna get anything good. And then suddenly out of nowhere, just get the good line. It's always like that. Also a thing which people could recommends. Wait, where is it? Does it show anywhere here? Does it show how many points you get per? It doesn't how to gather points. Okay, so how to gather points. If you're asking, if you don't farm that much and you're thinking about, I want to get points fast, but what's the easiest way to get points fast? So getting runes is only +7. Getting grinds and gems is +5s. Oh no, wait. Grinds and gems go all the way up to like 8s. So 6 or 8. So your rates, you get 6 or 8. And for runes, you get 7. But the issue is, if you go rune farming, you're gonna get materials to craft runes. Crafting runes, I'm not sure if it counts. It could be that crafting runes actually counts, but I'm not 100%. Crafting runes acquired will count. So actually, if you haven't crafted runes in quite a long time, this is your moment to craft runes, because crafting runes is gonna give you a lot of points. But then looking at the bottom left, getting your artifacts is by far the fastest way to get points, because every hero is 8, every rare is 5, and your legend is 12. It also really depends on how far you farm things, because if you have a very slow PC10 but a very fast GB12, sure, then that also makes sense to farm something. But if you want to have quick points, I think artifacts is your fastest way. And then also for using, someone just mentioned in the chat, thank you. Also, if you use grinds, if you use gems, and if you use re-apps, you also get points. So using grinds, this is also your time. If you haven't used grinds for a while, use your grinds, get those things in, get points from that. And I'm not 100% sure about the legendary and hero drop rate for artifacts, but I do think they are higher than for runes and that kind of stuff. So that is what it is. BG5 is very fast. That's very true. BG5 actually adds in quite a bunch of runes as well, because you always get the 6 or the 8, and you don't have the crafting materials, but crafting materials also give you that. So my recommendation, in short, go for a slot 2 Swift, or no, wait, wrong. Go for a slot 2, either Vio or Will. That's on speed and 24 accuracy. And then for your other rune, I recommend you to go crit rate slot 4, unless you say you already have good ones of those. If you already have something that's already very good, you don't really need to stack in another one, because for some runes you want more rune depth in, and it's totally fine to have multiple of. But if you don't have that, then I would recommend for going for that. Some people have also been asking me, accuracy slot 6, is it worth it? Yes. But keep in mind that if your accuracy slot 6 stays at the 18 speed mark, so you can max it to a 23 speed. If you would use a rune that's 23 speed with an accuracy slot 6, then yes. Crit rate slot 4 for which set? Totally up to you. The most versatile is Will. The second most versatile is Vio. But you can also do Swift. It's not bad. And then for your slot 2, it's either Vio or Will. Sure, if you want to take a risk, you can actually go for that slot 6 HP, slot 4 HP, try to get that high speed on it. But do keep in mind, if it rolls not into speed, would you still use that rune or not? Rage crit damage, slot 4, would you recommend that? Personally, no, I would not recommend that, because this is such an end game thing that I don't recommend to go anything else than Vio, Swift, or Will on it. Do you think an attack slot 6? Attack slot 6 is doable, but again, keep in mind that you want to focus on something that you would use. A good thing about attack slot 6 is you can have attack as the base, defense HP, and then crit rate, and then speed on 18. If it rolls double into the crit rate, it's still a very good rune. Can I ask why accuracy? Okay, so the video is getting kind of lengthy. Why accuracy? So let's see, how much accuracy do you have on your slot 2 speeds, which for me is 26, 24, and then 22. Those are all blue rolls, pretty much. If you check for this, it's again 26, 23. So we're already like below blue roll within the second one. This is actually, I'm not sure if it's just me, it's very rare to get. And you have a lot of units that need a lot of accuracy in current meta. You have your Cardinals, preferably 85 accuracy. You have your CP, preferably 85 accuracy. You have so many units, your Savannah can use a lot of accuracy. There's so many units that can have a slot 2 that can use accuracy. It's a very good slot to have accuracy on. Sure, if you need your crit rate more than your accuracy, a fair pick as well. But check what you are lacking in, and therefore you go for that. Do you not suggest going HP slot 4 Will? HP slot 4 Will, unless you are okay with using a rune that's max 23 speed, it's not that great. Because if your HP Will rolls into double attack, let's say you go 24 attack and 18 speed without any grinds. Is that good for an HP Will 4? Not really. It's nothing crazy. While you actually have something that double rolled max. You suggest going slot 6 accuracy. Slot 6 accuracy is good if you want to go for, if you don't have it. Like for example, if for Vio I have like 34, 32, 26, wait, the other way around. It should be 34, 32, 26, so it's already there. It's definitely already there. But if I check, apparently I don't have any in Will. But do I miss it? No, I don't miss it. So, because I don't miss it, I could go for this because I don't have it. But I don't really miss it, so it's not an issue for me. Why do you say 23 speed isn't 24 speed max? I call it 18 plus 5. So if you don't roll any speed, you stay at 18 plus a 5, 23 max. So yeah, that's it about for this video. I answered a few Q&A from the chat as well. I'll continue with Q&As in the chat. Don't want to make this video too lengthy, but guys, thanks for watching and see you later.